F1H2O World Championship returned to Sharjah for the Road to Sharjah Grand Prix of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates for a season-ending finale where the 2023 World Champion would be crowned. The event in Sharjah has become the classic season ender and is the perfect backdrop with a race circuit bang in the center of the city on the Khalid Lagoon. Adding to the thrill, this season's climax features the addition of two 15-minute sprint races, ensuring non-stop action on the water that promise to be a visual feast for spectators. Sharjah is the third largest sheikhdom of the United Arab Emirates, next door to its more illustrious neighbor Dubai. Yet Sharjah has a character all its own, one that is firmly rooted in its culture, history, and Arab-Islamic roots, with architecture spanning many geographies, periods, and styles. It is also a jumping-off point for exploring the wondrous natural beauty that surrounds this region. From long, sandy beaches just minutes away from the city center to the Sharjah Desert, which is home to a variety of flora and fauna, offering a chance to see some of the region's unique wildlife. The famous Al-Hajar Mountains offer beautiful hiking trails and breathtaking views. Sharjah has hosted the Road to Sharjah UIM F1H2O Grand Prix for 3 decades, and locals and fans turned out to meet the drivers and teams. There were also delegations from Albania, Vietnam, and Australia, with future races to look forward to in those host countries. A few of the brave had the rare chance to taste the thrill and speed of these boats in Sharjah team's 2-seater F1H2O boat. Now let's see what happened in the last round in Sardinia, Italy. The previous round returned to the beautiful island of Sardinia, Italy, in the scenic port town of Olbia. The championship points leader heading into the weekend was Team Sweden's Jonas Andersson. The pole position was decided through a gauntlet of BRM qualifying and sprint race sessions. Jonas Andersson dominated throughout to take pole position. Local hero Alberto Comparato nabbed the second spot, and Victory Team's Eric Stark would start in third. Andersson had a strong start, while Alberto Comparato fell back and was overtaken by Eric Stark coming around the commitment buoy. Back and forth, Peter Marin kept on the pressure and finally passed Italian favorite Alberto Comparato, with Marin moving up to third. Now Eric Stark was in a precarious second place with the likes of Marin and Zandbergen breathing down his neck. With just 2 laps to go, Eric Stark's luck ran out. Trying to negotiate around back markers, he was passed by Marin and Zandbergen in one fell swoop. Marin coming out in P2 and Zandbergen third. But all eyes were on Jonas Andersson, who led a flawless race after a perfect weekend and won his second championship. Jonas Andersson was now a 2-time world champion, but the fight for second and third place would go down to the Road to Sharjah Grand Prix of Sharjah, with Zandbergen 4 points ahead of Stark in third. The Sharjah Grand Prix of Sharjah featured a stacked lineup of 20 drivers from 10 teams. The team's World Championship and the coveted pole position trophy were still up for grabs. And with the crucial second and third places in the Drivers' Championship undecided, the event was a battleground for both team and individual honors. Coming in a cut above was Team Sweden's Jonas Andersson, who clinched his second world title at the previous round in Sardinia, Italy. But with the team championship and a Road to Sharjah Grand Prix win at stake, he was all business.
Yeah, I mean, we were winning the championship in Olbia and it was fantastic. I had all my sponsors from home there and it was a great time. Fantastic feeling, but now we really need to push here in Sharjah to try to win the team championship and pole position. So, I mean, for me it's like a normal race. I always try to win, so.
His teammate, Finnish driver Kalle Vippo, had to deliver on the weekend if they wanted to secure the team championship. The favorite for second place in the Drivers' Championship was Sharjah team's Ferdinand Zandbergen. He was 4 points ahead of his rival Eric Stark in points and finished on the podium in every race he completed this season.
We are trying to secure the second place in the championship. Also, we are fighting for the Fast Lap Trophy and the team championship. So there's a lot to win or lose in this weekend. much, and I hope we can get that and keep it like that.
Sharjah team's principal driver was two-time champion Sami Celio. The veteran had a fraught season, but was keen to put his team on the year-end podium. Victory Team's Eric Stark was another strong contender, currently third in the Drivers' Championship standings. And after having taken a few years off racing, a strong finish here would be testament to his talents.
Championship is done, but for us the second place means a lot, especially our first season back after the break. So yeah, we will try to win this race.
His teammate Ahmed Al-Fahim had a rough start to his rookie year with a string of spectacular crashes. Could he finally turn around his season?
I had a couple of crashes, which is not good. So now I'm the last stage and just trying to build my confidence back again, put more time on the boat and just find my way back again up.
2023 was definitely not defending champion Sean Torrente's best year. He missed the previous round due to a yellow card suspension and was 7th in the championship standings.
A lot of stupid mistakes on my part, mistakes in the team, just one of those types of years. You know, it's something that shouldn't happen, honestly. We all need to be better, myself included. So really, Sharjah is about a reset, understanding and developing some things that we're working on for the future, and then see what we got.
His Team Abu Dhabi teammate Dani Al-Kamzi is the most successful driver in the history of the Grand Prix of Sharjah and could shake things up here. And continuing on from Sardinia, Rashid Al-Kamzi would be the third driver on Team Abu Dhabi's roster. And China CTIC's Peter Marin was only 6 points adrift of Zandbergen and still firmly in the hunt for second place in the Drivers' Championship.
This weekend we're going to make the best of us because actually we are fourth in the championship. Then we have to take the best of point to try to be in the different position. We can catch second or third position on podium for the championship, so we will try to do our best to this.
He drove alongside teammate American Brent Dillard. The road to Sharjah Grand Prix of Sharjah course on Khalid Lagoon was notoriously technical, with reflecting waves, blinding sunlight streaming through skyscrapers, and a tricky right-hander.
The hairpin to the yellow is pretty much where you make all your time. If you get that right, and then down the front straight, that turn, that 90 degree to go up to the hairpin, if you can just barely touch it there and let it eat, you can get a lot of time. You got to really hang it out to do that. And I don't know if you know this, but in Sharjah there's a sea monster between turn 3 and 4 over there by the fountains. Me and Jonas have both crashed in the straightaway there and didn't know what happened. We had no idea what happened. We just going down the straightaway, think everything's okay, next thing you know you're upside down and inside out.
The BRM qualifying, determining the starting grid, unfolds in 3 stages. In Q1, boats have 20 minutes to set their best lap, with the top 12 advancing to Q2. Here, they get 15 minutes to select the 6 fastest for Q3, a final 10-minute showdown where the quickest driver earns pole position. In Q1, two-time world champion Sami Celio had a frustrating session, unable to get clean water and just missed the cutoff, knocked down by Bartek Marsalek. Also out were Marit Stromoy, Philip Roms, Maverick teams Bourgeot and Deguin, and Atlantic teams Benjelf and Duarte Benavente. Q2 shook up the field of veterans. Eric Stark was unable to make the cut in 7th, while his teammate Al-Fahim made it to his first Q3 session. Disappointment also for world number 4 Peter Marin, who was out in 10th. Also out were Bartek Marsalek, Dani Al-Kamzi, Comparato Racing's Alberto Comparato, and Brock Cohen. Q3, 10 minutes and 6 boats for the pole position showdown, with both Team Sweden drivers competing. Jonas Andersson kicked it off with the fastest lap of the weekend at 46.25 seconds. Defending champion Sean Torrente struck back, breaking 46 seconds with a time of 45.834. but Anderson hit back strongly and had Torrente on the ropes with a time of 45.727 seconds to grab top spot again. And an impressive run from Kalle Vippo, who took third place, strengthening Team Sweden's chances of the team championship win.
I'm really happy, and I'm very, very happy and proud of Kalle, who is qualifying third. I mean, because he has been a lot of problem with the engines and the boat, and I really try hard to give him the good material. But now, finally, so far, it's in one piece, so he's very fast.
Zandbergen would start in fourth, Grant Trask in fifth, Ahmed Al Fahim in his best qualifier result in sixth. In between the racing action, drivers, teams, and members of the F1H2O World Championship community took a trip to the Sharjah Desert to continue their sustainable agenda, planting more trees at Al Menteft in the plantation as a way of offsetting some of the carbon footprint that the sport creates. The sprint races were run after the morning's BRM qualifying. The two 50-minute races, while not offering any championship points, had a cash prize. The field of 21 drivers were divided into based on their qualifying results. The Sprint Race 1's starting lineup had Anderson on pole with Ferdinand Zandbergen in P2 and Mad Croc's Grant Trask in P3 and Bartek Marszalek P4. Green flag, the race is on! But Zandbergen is going nowhere fast. His engine doesn't start. The field leaves the Dutchman at the pontoon. Anderson in the lead. Bartek Marszalek in the fourth lane has a great start, pulling ahead of Trask up to the commitment buoy. Sami Celio in lane 7 is struggling, being passed by Ben Jelf on his starboard side. Grant Trask has caught up to Anderson, attacking for first on the outside. The two boats deck to deck. But Anderson holds on to first. Trask P2, Marszalek now P3. But behind, Dani Al-Khamzi is making a move on the inside. Marszalek sticks the turn ahead of the Emirati. Al-Khamzi guns it down to the yellow right-hander, but the Polish ace has the speed and keeps his fourth position. The battle for third rages between Marszalek and Al-Khamzi. The Emirati, relentless in his pursuit, has the Polish driver making mistakes. Al-Khamzi finally makes a pass, but is saved by a yellow flag. Brent Dillard barrel rolls and the race is stopped. The American is okay, with Osprey rescue team quickly on the scene. With only a few laps to go, the race ends under a yellow flag. Jonas Andersson adds another first place to his weekend, Mad Croc's Trask in second, and Marszalek finishes third.
In the first, I start to push, and then I have a gap, and then I took it easy to save the engine for tomorrow. So it was a smooth race.
Crowds line the shore for Sprint Race 2. Sean Torrente, who was second in BRM qualifying, would be on pole. Behind him were the two blue boats, Victories, Ahmed Al Fahim in P2 and Eric Stark in P3. The lights go out and the boats roar off the pontoon. The pair of Victory boats have a spectacular start. Eric Stark leads the field to the commitment buoy in the third lane. Ahmed Al Fahim is in P2. Al Fahim beats Torrente to the buoy. He breaks left. Torrente hurdles across the other race lines and he crashes into Philip Roms. Massive debris field in the water. The race is yellow flagged. The two boats are wrecked. Osprey Rescue is there in seconds. Philip Roms is unhurt, but Torrente escapes only with the help of the Osprey team. Here it is again. Torrente runs out of space at the buoy and hurdles across the race lanes, ramming Philip Roms' rear end, the two boats spitting in a cloud of water and debris. Sean Torrente was rushed to the hospital, but fortunately, after a night's rest, was released with no serious injuries. A testament to the safety of these latest generation cockpits, helmets, and neck restraint devices. Sadly, Torrente would not race the next day.
So after the start, I had a really good start from the pontoon. I was really beside Eric Stark, and then after the first turn, I felt a really hard hit in the back of the boat, and then we almost lost an engine. So it was a really hard hit.
The sprint race resumed with 6 laps to go. The two victory boats were in the lead, Al-Fahim first and Eric Stark in second. Peter Marin gave hard chase in third, with Team Abu Dhabi's Rashid Al-Khamzi attacking from the inside. Peter Marin held on to third, coming around the start-finish line. And so, Ahmed Al-Fahim finished in first, followed by his teammate Eric Stark. Peter Marin takes the final podium spot in third.
It was an amazing race. I mean, didn't expect it, to be honest with you, but I stay in the course. I was focused just in my drive. I would just stay away from the trouble, and I'm very happy.
However, his elation was not to last, as post-race, he was dramatically disqualified from the racing weekend for dangerous driving after his part in causing the accident, and would not race the next day. Race day. Crowds lined the Khalid Lagoon to watch the drama unfold. The big battle, second place in the World Drivers' Championship title, Sharjah Team Zandbergen versus Victory's Stark. But all drivers were here to win and could put a wrench in the big contenders' plans. The field lined up for the final race. The starting grid had a Team Sweden 1-2. Jonas Andersson on pole with his teammate Kalle Vipo in P2. Ferdinand Zandbergen in P3, 2 spots ahead of his main rival Stark in P5. Grant Trask in P4. Marsalek in P6 with the hard-charging Al-Khamzi behind him in 7th. Seconds to go now as the crowds hold their breath. There it is, the lights go out and the race is on. Zandbergen is slow off the dock and drops behind. Eric Stark has a great start and leads the field. Peter Marin in the 8th lane also rockets off the dock. The Frenchman pulls ahead of Dani Al-Khamzi to his port side. Approaching the all-shot buoy, Matt Croc's Grant Trask is ahead of Andersson, but the Swede has the inside lane advantage. Grant Trask comes up around in P2. Kalle Vipo is behind, squeezed in the 2 leaders spray. Dani Al-Khamzi was in the 7th lane, but Marin manages to pull ahead on the outside. Peter Marin locks in 7th place from the Emirati driver. Andersson under huge pressure from Grant Trask, barely a boat's length ahead. Kalle Vipo on the inside being attacked by Eric Stark. The blue victory boat has the speed and passes Vipo into 3rd place on the start-finish straight. Great move from Eric Stark, now up in P3. Vipo is 4th, but has an aggressive Zandbergen behind him, trying to recover from his poor start. The Dutchman attacks in the cleaner water on the outside. Zandbergen swings around the left-hander and takes 4th place, pipping Vipo down to 5th. Sami Celio is back in 10th, behind Brock Cohen, who's slowly pulling away from the Finn. Andersson with a strong lead. Trask has gained 2 spots up in 2nd. Stark also up to P3 from P5, but with Zandbergen hot on his tail in P4. Behind in the battle for 7th, Dani Al-Khamzi is on the outside, pushing up on Bartek Marsalek. Al-Khamzi pours on the power in the blinding conditions and comes around the left-hander, passing Marsalek into 7th. At the end of the start lap, Trask is P2, Stark P3, Zandbergen chasing in 4th. Marin is up from 8th to 6th. Brock Cohen in 9th takes on Bartek Marsalek. The Polish ace tries to hang on, but Brock Cohen swiftly moves past on the inside. The battle for 3rd is also the battle for 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship podium. Stark has the advantage ahead of Zandbergen, but the Sharjah team driver is highly skilled and will attack given the slightest chance. Kalle Vipo is 5th and trying to hold off China CTIC's hard-charging Peter Marin, who needs every point for the team championship 3rd place. Zandbergen is just a boat's length behind Stark, coming around the left-hander. Vipo catches up from behind, but goes wide in their spray. Peter Marin doesn't miss his chance. He cuts tightly into the turn and shoots past Kalle Vipo. Peter Marin moves up to 5th now. Grant Trask in his best race of the season in 2nd, but has Eric Stark gaining behind in P3, Zandbergen in P4, and Marin P5. A veritable battle royale for the top spot behind Andersson. Marin is fast around the hairpin down to the right-hander. He zooms past Zandbergen and takes 4th place from the Dutchman. Zandbergen goes wide, moves to the outside lane. It looks like he's in trouble. Up ahead, Eric Stark is pushing to the max, giving everything he's got. He does it. He passes Trask into second place. Now it looks like Grant Trask is also having power issues as Peter Marin is able to pass heading into the right-hander. Entering lap 12, Eric Stark is up to second place with Peter Marin in third, Kalle Vipo fourth as Grant Trask continues to slide back. And it's game over for Zandbergen, who comes to a halt. Dreams of a World Championship podium dashed. Bad luck for the talented Dutchman. Going into lap 22, the battle for second is on between Stark and Marin. The pair have closed the gap on Anderson in the lead. Peter Marin now sees a potential third place on the championship podium, wants to lock it in, and is pressing hard. Behind in the battle for 8th, Alberto Comparato has locked horns with Marszalek. The Polish ace is trying to defend against the aggressive Italian, who's laying everything on the line to get around into 8th. Comparato switching lines from inside to outside and back again, looking for any weakness in Marszalek's lines. Comparato tries to get around Brent Dillard, coming past the yellow right-hander, and he clips the American's rear sponson. Comparato barrel rolls, flipping over twice. The yellow flag comes out, and the Osprey rescue team is there in seconds. Alberto Comparato is okay. Here it is again on the replay. The two boats collide at the right-hander. Comparato and Dillard are both out of the race. Dillard barely making it back to the pontoon before his boat sinks. With just 3 laps to go now, the boats line up for the restart. Green flag. It's Peter Marin's chance to get a jump on Stark. Anderson leads, heading back to the shore in the blinding light. Stark has the outside, while Marin pours on the power on the inside. But the victory driver holds on to second, coming around the left-hander. Stark is P2. Peter Marin is on the inside in P3. But now Daniel Kamsi attacks on the outside. The two boats zoom into the left-hander, and it's Al-Kamsi who beats the Frenchman to the buoy. Daniel Kamsi takes third. Peter Marin down to fourth with just 2 laps to go. What a move by the Emirati in his home country race. Behind, Marit Stromoy, who runs the sole 4-stroke engine in the field, has caught up to Brock Cohen on the restart, and she attacks him for 6th. The Norwegian finally passes Brock Cohen on the next lap. Coming into the final lap, Marin is desperate to claw back his 3rd place, but it is to no avail. Anderson brings home an incredible race win to top off his World Championship title. Jonas Anderson is the Road to Sharjah Grand Prix winner. Eric Stark finishes in 2nd, and with that, he takes 2nd place in the World Drivers' Championship. Daniel Kamsi's last-minute move earns him 3rd place in front of his home crowd. Vipo is P4, great result for Stromoy in 6th. Ben Jelf with an impressive 8th place finish ahead of Marszalek in 9th. Al-Kamsi's last-minute maneuver also propels Team Abu Dhabi to 2nd place in the Team Championship standings ahead of China CTIC in 3rd and Sharjah team in 4th.
I fight all the race and I get 5 and then 4 and then 3. It was a very difficult race, everyone fighting for his position, but I do very well and I drive my best and I get number 3.
It was been a really roller coaster this weekend, like from qualifying 7, winning the sprint, yellow card took away. Now 2nd in the race, 2nd in the World Championship, so perfect end of this weekend and the season, especially for the team being on the podium here in our home water.
And so, in the overall Drivers' Championship standings, China CTIC's Peter Marin grabs the 3rd spot, pipping Zandbergen to 4th by just 4 points. Al-Kamsi finishes in 5th, with Torrente back in 7th.
The race, we start 8th position. Just after the restart, I lose the 3rd position in a bad choice. Really disappointed about it for the race, but we are 3rd position on the World Championship.
I had the worst start in all my career, I think. I was thinking, now it's finished for me. But I managed to get up a little in speed, and in the second corner I was first, and Eric was pushing hard before the yellow. Had a good feeling, and the setup was perfect, so I had an easy ride this race.
Sharjah topped off the weekend with a lavish award ceremony and gala dinner where drivers, teams and their families got to experience the splendors of an Arabian feast under a spectacular drone show. That concludes a stunning UIM F1H2O World Championship season. See you in 2024.